Welcome back to N's NotebookLM. Today, we are going deep. We're diving into the work of anthropologist Michael Harner, a man who went from being a total academic skeptic to exploring one of humanity's most ancient spiritual paths. We're talking about shamanism, not as some dusty relic, but as a living, breathing map to other realities that people are accessing right now. So let's just get right to the heart of it. The whole practice of shamanism, and really Harner's entire life's work, boils down to two huge questions. And they're questions that kind of shake up our basic assumptions about the world. I mean, think about it. Is this world that we see and touch, is this it? Is this all there is? And when we're up against the really big stuff, illness, loss, fear, are we just completely on our own to figure it out? For thousands of years, shamans all over the world have had a very clear answer to both of those questions, a resounding no. And this, right here, is the destination. This is the whole point. It's not about trading one set of beliefs for another. The real goal is to get direct personal knowledge, to actually move past just believing or not believing, and into firsthand, undeniable experience. So you might be wondering, how in the world did a mainstream, by-the-book academic end up drawing maps of spiritual worlds? Well, Michael Harner's own personal story is just as wild as the journeys he later taught other people how to take. You have to understand, when Harner was starting out, this was the hard and fast rule in academia. If you talked about spirits or traveling to other worlds, you weren't seen as a spiritual guide. You were labeled as mentally ill, plain and simple. That was the wall of skepticism he was facing. And this is where he had his huge breakthrough. At first, like pretty much everyone else, Harner thought that powerful plants, psychedelics, were the only way into these other realms. But the more he researched, the more he found something way more common, something almost universal, the simple, monotonous beat of a drum. He realized that the drugs and the drums weren't the destination, they were just different doorways to the exact same place. So this big aha moment led him to develop what he called core shamanism. He basically asked, what's the underlying operating system here? He took all the universal techniques like journeying with a drum and separated them from the specific cultural beliefs they were wrapped in. And by doing that, he made the practice something that anyone, anywhere, could learn and use. All right, so if you're going to travel, you need a map, right? A huge part of core shamanism is its map of this non-ordinary reality. People aren't just floating around aimlessly. They are navigating a pretty consistent three-part cosmos. First up, there's the middle world. This is easy. It's our world. It's the daily reality we all live in. But shamans see it as having two sides. There's the ordinary physical world we know, and then, existing right alongside it, is a non-ordinary spiritual layer that's usually invisible to us. Then there's the lower worlds. Now, don't let the name fool you. This has nothing to do with hell or anything bad. It's a vibrant, earthy, often underground world that's just teeming with incredible nature, mythic landscapes, and the spirits of plants and animals. This is where you often go to connect with powerful spirit helpers, or what you might have heard called power animals. And finally, we have the upper world. If the lower world is earthy, this world is ethereal, celestial. It's often described in heavenly ways, and it's seen as the home of these incredibly compassionate beings. Think spirit teachers, gods and goddesses, or wise ancestors, who can offer really profound wisdom and healing. Okay, so that's the map. Now for the really juicy part. Let's look at what actually happens when modern people, Westerners, use these ancient techniques to actually go there. This is where the theory gets real. So look, this is a very disciplined practice. It's not just spacing out. You start with a clear intention, a specific question. Then, you use the sound of the drum to shift your state of mind. You actually visualize leaving from a real place you know. You go on your journey to find answers. And, this is crucial, you listen for a specific drum signal to come all the way back. It's a very active, structured kind of exploration. And these experiences, well, they can get really intense. This quote is describing something called shamanic dismemberment. It sounds terrifying, but it's completely painless and it's not literal. It's a classic spiritual initiation that you see in cultures all over the world. It's this powerful symbol for the death of your old self and then being reborn into something new, realizing that your consciousness exists even without your body. And this shows you how the spirits often teach. This person asked a power animal for help with fear. The grizzly bear didn't give them a 5-step plan. It put them into a direct experience, a metaphor they had to live through, to show them that being free from fear was actually their own choice. The learning isn't intellectual, it's something you feel in your bones. All of this leads to a totally different way of perceiving the world, which shamans just call seeing. And it's so much more than just vision. It's like perceiving with all of your senses at once. People describe it as seeing with the heart. It's that feeling of deep emotional certainty where you just know something is true. It's like a direct download of information. So let's pull all these threads together. What's the real point of all this? Where does this path of core shamanism actually lead? What's the big takeaway from all these incredible journeys? When you get right down to it, the whole system is built to take a person from a state of just believing something to a state of actually knowing it for themselves. It's all about empowering you with a method to tap into your own spiritual resources, to find your own answers, and to be an active part of your own healing. I just love this ancient Siberian metaphor. They call the drum the shaman horse. It's so perfect, right? It's not just a musical instrument. It's the vehicle. That steady, rhythmic beat is literally what carries your consciousness safely on these flights to other realities. And so I want to leave you with this question to chew on. We throw that phrase around all the time, seeing with the heart, and we think of it as just a nice metaphor for intuition. But what if it's not a metaphor at all? What if, as the experiences of thousands of people suggest, it's actually a practical, learnable skill for perceiving a much deeper reality and for finding our way through it? If this topic has captured your interest and you'd like to dive deeper, the book is called Cave and Cosmos: Shamanic Encounters with Another Reality by Michael Harner.